So my top 3 tips for wedge habits under the Nourish category would be to eat more plant-based foods so that you can get closer to the daily quota of 8 servings a day. If you are doing that, is to definitely then think about your hydration. And if you're doing both of those, my next top tip would be to be more of a mindful eater. So how and why should you be doing these as the top 3? Number 1, eating more plant-based foods has so many benefits, with the sole exception if you maybe have a serious gut issue. Most of us benefit from the additional fiber. There are also loads of nutrients, antioxidants, bioactive compounds, vitamins, minerals in these foods that are incredibly good for our immune system and general well-being. They're also super low in calories, so it's kind of hard to overeat them. And they are very, very necessary for good gut health. And the more diversity, the more color we have, the better. Which is why I always say, eat like an artist. Bring in lots of color from, of course, not crisps and sweets, but from nature's fresh produce. So salads, vegetables, fruits. And I guess the main way to do this, the one wedge habit, if you aren't doing this, is to always bring at least one portion of color, if not more, onto your plate of food, with the idea, the goal being that half of all or most of your meals are coming from these plant-based foods. So you don't just eat, say, pasta and meat, but you maybe add into the bolognese lots of grated carrot and baby marrow and chopped peppers, and you can bulk it up that way, or always have a soup or a side salad, for instance. Now, if you are doing this, then how is your hydration? Because often when we are dehydrated, I know with me, I get a headache, my energy drops, and because my mouth is dry, I think I'm hungry. So a quick way to help with energy fatigue and boosting your mindset ability in your brain to be able to work and not always wanting to snack is to make sure you have enough water. Because it's really easy to dehydrate if you're constantly drinking teas and coffees, which are diuretics. So specifically, I would say, are you having water as you wake up in the morning instead of coffee first? Always have as much water as you can comfortably tolerate first thing in the morning, and then alternate every cup of coffee or regular tea with some water, because we should be aiming to get towards 1 glass of water for every 10 kilograms that we weigh, and a glass is 250 mils. If you're eating like an artist, you're having enough water. Maybe you could look at how you eat. So, what we eat is important, but how we eat is just as important. And I'm not suggesting that you eat as slowly as a tortoise would be, but a lot of us live life fast. And sometimes we don't even sit down to eat. Or when we sit down, we're still at our desks, for instance. Or we're potentially watching telly, or we're on our screens and scrolling through social media, which means we can easily overeat. We don't chew properly, and that doesn't help digestion. So, could you be a little bit more French? Maybe in your approach. I say French because my family are all from France, and a lot of the French always sit at a table and eat with a knife and fork and enjoy their meals, because it takes about 20 minutes at least for your stomach to stretch and produce enough pepsin to go to your appetite center to say, hey, thanks, I've had enough to eat. So maybe the one thing you could do is not have lunch at your desk. That could be a wedge habit, that for 21 days, you're going to eat your lunch away from your desk. Maybe it's about chewing your very first mouthful super well so that you become aware at least in that first minute. Maybe it's about putting down and letting go your knife and fork after each mouthful so that you don't race through your meal. I hope that one of these 3 tips is going to help you feel inspired about a wedge habit for this category, Nourish.